Arcade Perfect, my Arse.
Okay guys, welcome to another Arcade Perfect my Arse. It's been a while. My daughter's at the cinema, my wife is working. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to get another one of these out. So yep, this is the classic Konami Yie Ar Kung-Fu. Now I absolutely loved this game back in the day. The first time I ever saw it was Stevenson College in Edinburgh. And the thing that struck me about this game was the size of the graphics. There's the first character you fight is Butchu, and on an arcade screen he just looked absolutely enormous. And the game absolutely appealed to me. You know, you could have all round kind of movement, you could jump about, various punches and kicks. Yeah, looking at Butchu now, he doesn't quite look as fearsome as he did back in 1985, 1986, whenever it was. But on an arcade monitor, the big monitor, you know, he just looked incredible. But yeah, let's take a wee look at this. It's been a while since I've played it. I've never actually been able to complete the game. I've never actually managed to beat Blue, who is the last character you actually play. But I remember when would you call it? When Mame first came out, this was the game I really wanted to be able to play, and play I did. I can't remember now. I'm maybe being really sad here. I'm thinking version 0.37, 0.36 was when this was supported. Back then, Mame, you know, every release would maybe introduce I don't know, half a dozen new games, maybe slightly more than that. And I can always remember when this was finally supported, it was just amazing to think that I could play Yie Ar Kung-Fu, the arcade Yie Ar Kung-Fu, in my house. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was the first fighting game that actually had you taking on various different adversaries. Obviously games like Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2 and other games followed suit, but I think the first fighting game that I can recall would be not Kung Fu Master, what do you call it? Karate Champ. So that was again 1-in-1, but all the graphics kind of looked the same. I think maybe the belt colour changed, but this was the first game where you actually got to take on opponents that had different. I'm doing absolutely rubbish here. And one more. Damn it. Yep, the skills are rusty. It's probably not a game, I'm starting to make excuses now. It's probably not a game ideally suited to an Xbox 360 controller, thumbstick. I would imagine an actual joystick would be the best option in this game. Come on. Seems to be that last one I'm struggling with. Woo, that was an absolute slow. What did he say there? Did he speak? I love the way you see them crumpled in the background as well when you defeat them. The funny thing is, some of the characters are easier than others. You know, they tend not to get any. It's not necessarily the later ones are harder. Now, this guy came in absolute sod in Leicester. affected it right. And I've really not got the knack here. Nah, he can be a bit of a sod to get past. Always find the flying kick takes him out, but you really need to kind of you need to get the timing absolutely spot on. And I've absolutely not got it today. Yeah, I would say he's probably the most difficult one. I'm getting absolutely hammered here. And it's game over, I think. Yep. Okay, that's arcade version. Let's take a look at some of the home versions that we've got. Okay then, this is the BBC Model B version. I can't seem to get the joystick to work, unfortunately, so I'm having to use keys. And being a fellow, or being an original C64 man, I was never used to keys, so I'm going to be absolutely awful at this. Alright, okay, so you press that button to jump. I'm not sure how to kick, but I think I shall just stick with punching. Got to say, I was expecting the worst when I loaded this up, but it's actually really nice. It's quite a nice little representation. Yeah, the graphics are pretty small, but they look very kind of arcade-like, which is good. It's even got the wee arrow at the bottom. Hey! And it's right in there. Bloody hell, she Thursday stars at a great rate of knots. Let's see if my C64, my arcade technique works. I like how his eyes open up. Right, here we go, a rather lean looking pole. Right, it looks like almost just hammering the fire button. What on earth is that? Is this some kind of bonus level? Never seen that before. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Ah, no, so I've got to get past this before I can move on. I think what I really need to do is figure out... Ah, there we go, there's crouch there. Well, that's still right in the face, that one. Nah, bollocks. I was hoping it'd just be a single round and then you move on. Arse. Let's see if I can actually... Right, anyway, listen, that's enough of that. That's the BBC one. That's actually quite good. Very small graphics, but, you know, it looks like the arcade one, and it kind of feels like it as well, so I'm sure if you're using a joystick it would play even better. So, yep, let's take a look at something else. Right, okay, this is the Game Boy Color one. Right, you can see right away, graphically wise, it's completely different. Well, the main character, Oolong, who now appears to be called Lee, looks kind of similar, although he has got different coloured shorts. Backgrounds are completely different. You'll notice there it also scrolls, and the first baddie is called Wang as opposed to Butchu. I don't know why they changed the graphical style. I don't know what the reason is. Now we're fighting, is that Geo, I think it is, who seems to have been on the curry the night before, I think. It's not the easiest to actually use with the gamepad either. Yeah, I've got absolutely no idea why they changed the layout of the graphics, why they changed the background. Is it a licensing thing? I don't know. I'm sure other versions like the NES is the same, and is it the MSX as well? I'm sure they have the same style as this one, for reasons which completely escape me. But I mean, it plays alright. I'm not overly keen on the scrolling aspect, especially not in the Game Boy. Let's go for one last shot. It's certainly quite tough as well. Yeah, anyway, listen, that's enough of that. That is the Game Boy Color version. Okay, this is the Amstrad CPC 464 version. Now I had to kind of mess about to try and get the joystick working, and unsuccessfully, however. So this is going to be getting played using the keys. And being a C64 man, I'm guessing I'm not going to be very successful because I was always rubbish at using keys. And graphically wise, this is actually really impressive. It looks really arcade-like. But as you can see here, I'm not doing too great. Well, there again, I got a few kicks in there. The background looks nice, although it does lack the sort of animated waterfall that some of the other versions, including arcade, has obviously. Hooray! Ah, bollocks. Yep, I can certainly do using the joystick in this game. But this is excellent. This is graphically wise, it's really nice. It's slightly slower than I'd like it to be. If it was just maybe 10% faster, it would have added greatly, but all in all, this is a thoroughly good version. Bollocks. Let's have one more go. Oh, I thought it was game over for some reason. Don't know why I thought that. Yep, I'm going to stop doing that. Sounds good as well. Let's say very it does the job. It's certainly harder than other versions that I've played, but like I say, probably if I was using a joystick, I might get a bit further than I am with this at the moment. So one thing about Amstrad games, Amstrad conversions in particular, they're either brilliant or absolute pants. and in this case it's the former. It's very, very good. Take that. Come on, this time. Duck, 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 duck. Bollocks. Anyway guys, that is the Amstrad CPC 4641. Okay, this is the MSX version. And it looks like it's been based on the same version as the Game Boy Color, oddly. And how do we start? Space. Here we go. Now I can't get the joystick working, so again I'm having to use keys here, which I'm never going to be very good at. Can't see me jump up at all. I can jump straight up and down, but I can't see me jump left or right. So I'm really not giving the best sort of look at this game. This is a lot better than the Game Boy Color, as you'd expect. Graphics are nice. It's certainly got the sort of the sound effects and the playability of the arcade one. Again, it's going for completely different characters for reasons that escape me. Don't know why I do that. Like I said, I can imagine it must be something to do with. He's obviously been on the curry, Mr. Fatboy Tao or Teo or Tao or whatever. T-A-O, who knows. Looks very similar to Butchu anyway. This is hopeless trying to play on the keyboard. Come on, I want to try and get him in a corner, then kick 7 shades of shit out of him. Maybe not. But looks, if you move to the side and jump, you just do a kick. I think this would actually be alright if I could get the joystick working. Oh, he's landing all the blows, not me. Right, yep, I think that would be an actually alright version. I just, like I said, I can't get the joystick working, which is unfortunate, but that's the MSX one. Looks quite nice. Graphically, it looks really nice. Okay then, this is the ZX Spectrum one. Let's try that. 4 games in, 1 to start. Now, obviously, this being a Spectrum game, it's primarily sort of monochrome. But I've got to say again, it's like kind of high res, and the graphics are really, really good. Really nice and detailed, and obviously it uses the authentic backgrounds and baddies in the same sort of game format to the arcade one. But this is pretty impressive. My mate, I remember, I had the C64, my mate had the Spectrum. When I first saw this, I was kind of laughing at it, thinking, oh, it's look how, black and white graphics, but it does actually play really well. I've actually an interesting anecdote about this game. This particular version was apparently programmed by a little guy who lived about 2 miles away from where we stayed when we used to play this. He was from the same hometown in Livingston. So there you go. Sounds quite minimal, as you would expect being a Spectrum, but again, it's workable. You know, it does the job. Ow, bugger. Again, this one lacks any animation in the background, but you know, the animation that was present was pretty minimal, to say the least. Oh, come on! Oh, I'm doing absolute rubbish here. This time, hooray! Come on, get out of the road. It's amazing how few frames of animation there actually is, but it's actually still effective. You can still see exactly what's going on. Yeah, this is a really playable one. This is excellent. Graphics are nice and big, very, very authentic again to the arcade one. Whoa. That guy appears to have absolutely no facial features at all apart from eyes. Home versions are certainly a lot easier than the arcade one. Oh, I'm probably going to get my arse whipped here. Anyway, listen, that's the Spectrum one, that's excellent. Okay, this is the NES one. And again, it seems to adopt the same, exactly the same style as their MSX and Game Boy Color one. At least this one works with the joystick. It's got the same two buttons, punch and kick. There we go, jump. It's a bit kind of going a wee bit odd. Again, graphically, it's really nice. You know, it feels kind of like Yie Ar Kung-Fu. Right, there's something going on a bit weird with the controls, but anyway, we can see enough to see what it plays like. Now, interestingly, this version, the NES, in fact, Yie Ar Kung-Fu on the NES was only released in Japan. What's interesting about this game, not this particular version, but Yie Ar Kung-Fu in general, is there is no apparent version for the Atari 8-bit. I think the Atari had kinda almost fizzled out at the point this was released. I mean, it was Imagine who brought out all the sort of 8-bits, certainly in Europe anyway. This is a game I would love to see a modern remake of. I don't mean on the PC, I mean somebody actually, I don't know, on the Atari or C64 or something, make a really good version, because I think they could probably make an arcade perfect one. I really do. Okay, right, that's the NES version. Quite nice. Again, I'm not too keen on the sort of version they've picked. It would be nice if they'd actually picked the original arcade one. But anyway, you can't have everything. Let's bar on. Okay, and this is the Commodore 64 one. This has got excellent presentation. Out of all the sort of the home versions, this has got really, it's got the full sort of like front end. And yeah, it does look a wee bit blocky, but it's got the animation, it's got the speed as well, which the other 8-bit ones seem to lack. And it's quite tough, this one as well, because of the speed. Hey. Yeah, I like that. See, this has got the whole thing that the arcade had, which is excellent. You get a little noise when you're about to die. Ah, bugger. I did play this a lot back in the day, loved it to bits. This guy can be a bit difficult to beat. If you don't get him straight on, he can be a sod. Ah, like so. Once he gets in and about you, it's impossible to get rid of him. I think flying kick to the head's the only way to get rid of him. But you've got to get the timing absolutely perfect, which I haven't done. Ah, bollocks. No, I don't know if that's a bug in the game, but it is almost impossible to actually escape him once he gets a hold of you like that. Bollocks. Ah, oh, that was the closest yet. Up here we go, last go. Ah, there we go. I think I've just perfected. Oh! Talk too soon. You idiot. I was just about to say I've cracked it. Well, just constantly doing flying kicks seems to be the way, but just don't get caught. Anyway guys, listen, that is it. That is the last version I'm going to look at. We've looked at quite a few. There's been some good, some not so good, and some pretty rubbish. Okay then, to recap, what have we got? The BBC one wasn't bad, pretty small graphics, titchy wee graphics, but I was expecting a lot worse from the BBC, so it wasn't bad at all. Again, I couldn't get it one with the joystick. I'm sure the joystick would be easier, but quite a credible version for the BBC. It doesn't usually do arcade sort of conversions that well. The Amstrad was excellent. Graphically wise, I would probably say it was the most impressive out of all the versions we've looked at. It just moved a wee bit too slow for my liking. But sound wise, you know, and I says graphically wise, absolutely top notch. So it was certainly the prettiest version out of all of them. The three versions, the three console versions, the MSX, Game Boy Color and NES, they all had this completely different graphical style. The levels were different, the backgrounds were different, even the names of the sort of your adversaries were different. I don't know why they did that, considering they're all official Konami versions, so I don't know why they did that. I wasn't keen on that style. It was a different kind of game. Yeah, you were fighting different peoples. That was all it had in common with Yie Ar Kung-Fu, I felt. You know, if you're wanting Yie Ar Kung-Fu, you want the same graphics, you want the same baddies, you want the same backgrounds. So yeah, these three versions, they were playable enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, the NES one was really good, smooth scrolling, as was the MSX. Game Boy Color was a wee bit, you had a bit of scrolling going on there, which I wasn't overly keen. So yeah, the Spectrum one, again, black and white, but plays really, really well. Slightly slow, but a very, very good version. Couldn't knock it at all. And then you had the Commodore 64 one, which has all the front end. It has the really, really good presentation with all the sort of interlude bits when you defeat somebody. Definitely got the best sound. Music is to die for. Although, you know, you didn't get that music in the original, but the sound effects were brilliant. So yeah, to put them into order, it's quite a tough one. I'm going to say in bronze place position, third place, I'm going to go with the Spectrum. Silver place is going to be the Amstrad. And to my mind, there is only real one winner, and it's got to be the Commodore 64. Yep, some people, some Spectrum and Amstrad fans might be up in arms. Yep, the Commodore 64 one was a bit blocky looking, but to my mind it played the best. It was a challenging game, and the speed, sound and graphics and overall presentation really, really clinched it for me. So yep, gold medal goes to the C64. But all the 8-bit versions, Spectrum, Amstrad, were excellent. You know, you wouldn't have been disappointed with these. So that is it, guys. Just before I finish, there were other releases. This game was released. It wasn't released on Atari, as I mentioned earlier, which was quite a surprise. It did get released in sort of compilations for some of the home consoles. I think the PlayStation, original PlayStation, it had a Konami collection, and as you would expect, it was arcade perfect. You know, it was probably getting emulated. So if you want to play the home version, or sorry, a perfect version arcade-wise, you either use MAME or else you get yourself a PlayStation and pick up the Konami collection. But you know, if you want a good home version, you'd be hard pushed to go wrong with either Spectrum, Amstrad or C64. That is it, guys. That's another Arcade Perfect My Arse. Apologies for it taking such a long time. They do take a wee while to make, but I hope you enjoyed watching it. If there's any game you'd like to see featured in this, please just put your comments below. And as usual, guys, thank you very, very much for watching.
for watching my Mamemeister channel. Please feel free to like, comment or subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter.